What up, Q?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's poppin'?
Dr.
What's
Ed, how you doing,
poppin'?
bud?
I'm doing great. Looking forward to a good show tonight.
Most definitely. The Dr. Ed Show.
The Helping People and Collaboration Show.
There we go. That sounds good.
Yeah, and I mean, again, too, I think, we do like record all these too, Ed. So I don't know if you have any of your friends or, people that are not on Twitter or whatnot that are listening or watching or whatnot too. But if you need a link or anything, just let us know.
Yeah, probably maybe some people might want to listen to it later so I can get is it recorded?
It is, most definitely.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, we can definitely share that.
Yeah,
That'd be
that's what's
wonderful.
good about it. So all of our spaces now moving forward. I mean, depending if you can or can't make it, we record it and then we'll do a full spaces recap, afterwards. So.
Yeah, how about turning those into NFTs in the future? The first 10 spaces ever done. So some valuable information there.
Yeah, that'd be cool for sure. Definitely. Awesome. I mean, yeah, I know. Again, I know you got an hour and we're 5 minutes in. So, we'll let we got looks like we got 20 people in here. So we'll get it started and kind of let you just I know there's some people in here. Again, welcome everyone. Appreciate everyone joining us tonight. Got Dr. Edward in here with us. I know there's definitely some faces in here who have spoken with Dr. Edward, and then there's probably a few that have not have spoken with him yet. So, Dr. Ed, we're just gonna I'm gonna go ahead and let you kind of introduce yourself and go over about what you're about, and yeah, the floor is yours.
I mean, to sum it up, really, it's just my whole career, 25 years, has just been about helping people. I feel like that's what I was born to do. I was initially, allopathically trained and ended up just out of the blue, the way the universe works, on a, on a research team back in the mid 90s before internet was even available. And our job was to look for natural cures, and it was really focused around natural cures for cancer. But the other project that we were assigned was to find the root cause of all the diseases, root cause of cancer and root causes of all the other diseases. And so that was really like the most eye-opening thing I've ever gone through, because I went from like somebody who was trained to rely on big pharma, to think that pharmaceuticals were the answer, and the model of treating the symptoms instead of treating the root cause, which is the way doctors are still taught today. So as I was part of this research team, and as we got to travel around and we got to meet with all these doctors and hear their stories, and then look at all of the hear about what the real root cause of all the illness and diseases that we're suffering from, which is the chemicals and toxins in your external environment and the chemicals and toxins in your internal environment. And basically all disease and all negative health conditions stem from those two things. And when I say toxins in your external environment, that could be what you're reading on social media. It can be what you're watching on TV. That can put you in a negative state of mind. It could be the friends you're hanging out with. It could be the toxic air fresheners you're using in your house, the toxic personal care products, the mold in your house. I mean, we identified probably close to 1,000 of the most deadly or the most toxic things that people are exposed to in their external environment, and then thousands of chemicals and toxins that people are putting into their body through the food and the water and the beverages and stuff like that. And none of this, especially 25 years ago, nobody knew about this. And so, of course, when we came back and we started sharing our research, we were heavily attacked and basically told to shut up and not to release any of this information. And that's when we really started figuring out, how deep and dark this whole rabbit hole of keeping humanity, lying to humanity, deceiving humanity, poisoning humanity, how deep that rabbit hole went. And so it's been my mission ever since then to put the truth out there, let people know that they do have the power to heal themselves. They do have the power to activate their own body's self-healing mechanism, and teach them about all the things that are causing them you know, to lower their self-healing mechanism in their external environment, and all the things they're putting into their body and their internal environment. And that's why we're really, really big into detoxification, organic farming. That's why we love what we decide to. It would be a perfect partnership to partner up with you guys, because people in our industry, and like the people that really are awakened, that they know the truth, that they're opening up their mind, they're open to hearing another narrative besides what they're hearing on TV. Um, or they're just being led energetically, or they're awakening. I feel like we're going through this great awakening right now. Unfortunately, a lot of people aren't willing to, remove their judgment and remove their hate and their, you know, negative emotional patterns. But a lot of people are going through that transition right now. Actually, I should say a transformation. I mean, this is sometimes you need to go through this chaos in order to come out better on the other side, or at least to wake up and realize that some of the things you may have thought were true, and some of the things that you may have believed, your mind is now opening up to new possibilities and new information that's coming in. So um, what we've been doing is just trying to collaborate and trying to help as many people as we can as we're going through this great awakening period, and the struggles that people have. And we're working with them from everything: how to clean up their environment, how to grow their own food, how to survive, survival tactics, some of the edible. 99% of the people, if the power went off and they had no food supply, they would not know that they could literally survive in a and have enough food in a mile radius if they just knew what they could eat, what barks they could eat, what how they could purify their own water, how to survive. I mean, we've lost that. The main part of society has lost the ability to take care of themselves, because we've been relying on everything outside of ourselves. If you get sick, you run to the doctor. If your kid gets sick, you take them to the doctor. If you get hungry, you go get some food somewhere. So, and that's all been done through mass media campaigns and government campaigns for a long period of time, to make you rely upon the government or rely upon somebody outside of yourself. So we're just, my main mission is to bring the love and the peace and the joy and the positive emotions and the health, and basically teaching people how to be self-sufficient and how to heal themselves of any condition. And we do that through, many different ways, through education ways, and through developing, really, really, really high quality, high vibrational products. And we're seeing what I'm trying to let people know. I've been in the crypto field since 2017, because it was a decentralized way to get out of the system. And I believe that we should all have the ability to choose what we want to do. We should have freedom. We shouldn't have mandates. We shouldn't be told everything. We shouldn't be forced to do things. And right now, if you look around the world is becoming a scenario where, our freedoms are being challenged. We're being censored. We're being, locked down. We're, being forced to do things outside of our will, whether we want to do it or not. And I think that's what I love about the metaverse. That's what I love about NFTs. That's what I love about the decentralization of the blockchain world, because it's my opinion that this is a place where people can go to escape. This is a place where people can go to collaborate. This is a place people can go where they won't be censored, where they can speak, have the freedom of speech. They can be in an area where, you know, maybe they're not judged, or there's not a lot of hate, or there's not a lot of division. So I see this rapid growth of the metaverse and all these different types of verses, um, as a positive thing, that people can get information and the things that they need, and they don't have to worry about being censored. So just a little bit of everything. And so that's kind of you know what I'm excited about. And you know, it's awesome that I found you guys, and it's awesome that we can collaborate. And just so many people in the group have, you know, their own stories and their own tips, and we're all kind of like-minded, and preserving nature and preserving the soil. And not you know, there's two different philosophies. There's nature based and there's science based. And honestly, what I've found is pretty much everything that you need to survive and thrive is from nature. It's not from science. It's not from man-made things. It's from things that are made in nature.
Most definitely. And that's, you know, for everybody who's listening, that's kind of exactly why we have Dr. Ed as a partner. You know, like everything you said kind of ties into what we're, you know, about at FMV as far as self-sustainability and living, you know, a toxin-free lifestyle. But yeah, most definitely. Real quick, I will let everybody know we are giving away some products from Global Healing. Um, which, Drew, if you'll remind me exactly the product, I forget off the top of my head.
Yeah, so I'll give the brief synopsis of the giveaway, which we're going to launch in the next week or so. But it's going to be kind of like a starter immune pack from Dr. Ed's company, Global Healing. So we're going to do 10 winners. We're going to get a zinc product, vitamin D, and quercetin, which is kind of like a nice little entry level. And all three of those work together. I mean, I personally take that every morning, and it's from Dr. Ed's company, Global Healing. That's the stuff I use. So we're doing that, and on top of that, Ed just released a new book, so he's going to sign 10 copies and include that in the giveaway box as well. So we're going to get that popping off here in the next week or so. So we're stoked about it.
Yeah, that's super dope. I'm definitely looking forward to you know, to everybody getting that, because that's, you know, I feel like that's what we've been on, you know, the past you know, just week after week, you know, just giving back and, like Dr. Ed said, helping people. But that being said, man, if anybody has any questions, we will kick off the AMA. If you got anything to, you know, to ask Dr. Ed, you know, like any particular questions about your you know, struggles with your physical health, or like even your, you know, spiritual health, anything like that, just send a request to speak, and we'll you know, we'll let you ask Dr. Ed whatever you got.
I know we just brought up
I have
Chris.
a,
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
I have a question. Where can we find Dr. Ed's products online and stuff?
So we can
So
post the
yeah,
go ahead, Dr. Ed.
you can find it at globalhealing.com. But pretty soon we're working out a really good relationship with Farmers Marketverse. And what we're doing is, if you are a patron owner, or if you are part of the community, we're going to be doing giveaways. We're going to be doing you're going to get special discount codes. We're going to be doing lots of things to help support everybody that we're not doing it anywhere else with anybody else at the moment. So
Awesome.
we really want to help promote this metaverse, and the farmers market verse especially, and everybody associated with it. So that should be live, I think, you know, as soon as their website's live, which it might be launching tomorrow, I think, or at least sometime this week. So yeah, you want to look out for them. And what we're doing is we're giving back to the community as well. So it's anything that you purchase through the affiliate link through the Farmers Marketverse website, a good percentage of that will actually go back to the growth of the Farmers Marketverse platform, and the, you know, whatever is going to be really whatever the community wants, I guess, moving forward in the future. So that'll you know, whatever they decide to do with that will, you know, whether it's giving it, you know, donating to someone, or, you know, whatever whatever they want to do with that. But for now, globalhealing.com is the website.
Right on, sweet.
Most definitely. And Drew actually just pinned up the tweet, so you can check out the zinc supplement, which is super dope. And then that'll lead you to the website, Chris, so you can check everything out
Yeah,
there.
cool. I really appreciate, having this conversation in a room like this, because I feel like all too often people in this community kind of put their health, as a bad, put it back to focus on this. And it's really important to keep your system balanced and everything in check. So I appreciate you, Dr. Ed. Thank you.
And see,
Yeah, most definitely.
you're 100% right, and that's something that we've been looking at for about 3 years now. And there's a good percentage of people these days that are spending 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, even like 80, 90% of their time sitting down, that are online, and that are especially part of the crypto movement, or part of the gaming movement, or part of the NFT movement, or we've become a very sedentary lifestyle. And so that's kind of what I hope we can change with some of the metaverse stuff, and really helping people get up, move around, get healthy, and then possibly what we had talked about is even rewarding people in different types of tokens, or rewarding them, if they join a group meditation for 20 minutes and do it, they get rewarded. Or if they, however that's, we're working, and we've heard of some different NFT projects, and some different projects that are incubating right now, that will be reward. We've been part of that consulting, actually, being able to figure out ways to reward people for getting healthy. I mean, for cleaning up their diet, for becoming more spiritual, for detoxifying their body, which is another big thing. People that go through a liver cleanse, people that go through an intestinal cleanse program, they can get extra points or extra tokens. I mean, we actually just launched our token, the healing token, through our website. It's not available yet, but those are kind of some of the things that are coming in the future that we want to work with the FMV crew. And we're putting a lot of time and effort into developing our a roadmap and our white papers and all that stuff, as far as our token is concerned, to be able to reward people for collaborating in the FMV world, or helping other people in one way, shape, or form, or helping the environment, or whatever. I mean, so hopefully the whole, we like to hear from, we don't like to just make all the decisions. We like to hear from the community on what are the things that other people want. What are the things that would motivate them to get healthy? Because ultimately, the only thing that you can never get back in your life, you can make millions of dollars, you can lose millions of dollars, you can be in multiple relationships, lose relationships, you can be in poor health, you can get healthy again. But the one thing that you can never get back is time. So, when time is so valuable. So it's what we've noticed over the years is, and just from interviewing people, I can't tell you how many billionaires and movie stars and how many famous people that I've worked with over the last 25 years. And I always ask them, would you do anything different in your life? And they always say, I wish I would have. It's people think that the people with money and the billionaires and all the movie stars, they always want to be like them. But honestly, it's like they are one of the most unhappy group of people. They're one of the most sick group of people. Um, and the stressed out and depression and all kinds of mental disorders, then I mean, it's amazing what goes on behind the scenes, and from talking to these individuals. And it's always like, I wish I would have spent more time on working on my health, or I wish I would have spent more time with my family, or I wish I would have spent more time with my kids. And they all start crying at that point in time, because it's just like, there's no way you can go back in time and do that. So to me, it's like it's so important to have a balanced lifestyle. It's so important to just like take care of your life. Now, I had a guy that was 29 years old, and he started his own business when he was 16. He was literally working 23 hours a day. He was drinking probably a gallon of coffee a day. He ended up selling his company for like $250 million or something like that. He was 29 years old when he sold his company. He came to me because he had all the money in the world, but his life was a disaster. He was overweight. He had all kinds of diseases. And he basically said, you know, now I have all this money and I have all this, everything, but my life is in the worst state that it's ever been in. And that's what you want to avoid. I mean, you want to be able to take care of, ultimately we fixed him up. It took like about a year, and he had to go through massive detoxification, and we had to, he really had to take time for himself. And that's the point I'm trying to make. We need to factor in time for ourselves, to take care of ourselves, and really balance out your life, your spiritual life, your personal life, your relationship life with your friends, and then yourself. And so, it's really important to make sure you put time in to take care of yourself and keep yourself healthy.
Yeah, it seems like all those or majority of those regrets are all time related for sure. I actually have a writing question from one of our community members that was unable to join the space. And this is more on the health side, I guess, and the mind. But do you have an opinion or a solution on vertigo and how to you know mitigate those symptoms of vertigo? Foggy head, spacey, unsteady. Would like to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, vertigo is kind of challenging because there's so many different things that can cause vertigo. So what I do is I always ask, well, what is the root cause of what could be causing your vertigo? And some of the things that we found are uh, if you have the atlas is the bone that your head sits on, and in a lot of cases, the atlas, whether you could literally sleep on it the wrong way, travel, you could be on a plane, fall asleep, or your head falls a certain direction, and you can move that bone out of position slightly. And that can be one of the causes of vertigo. So the best remedy for that is a chiropractor, going in and getting a chiropractic adjustment. The second thing for vertigo that it could be is a lot of vertigo is caused by excitotoxins. And excitotoxins are going to be MSG and artificial sweeteners. So if you're drinking Diet Coke or anything that has aspartame or NutraSweet or any type of artificial sweetener, those are excitotoxins to the brain. So are artificial colors, actually. So any type of artificial colors, MSG, or artificial sweeteners. But we've also seen titanium dioxide could cause vertigo, and that's a whitening agent. So a lot of coffee creamers have that in it. And really, it's associated more with toxins or toxicity. So by doing a detoxification and cleansing your body, that's kind of what we do to fix that. Now, recently, with all of the 5G towers. Can you hear okay?
Most definitely.
Okay. Uh, we've seen an increased amount of vertigo. We've seen an increased amount of dizziness. We've seen an increased amount of headaches since they started putting those smart meters on people's homes, especially if the smart meter is outside your bedroom, because that harmful electromagnetic radiation will penetrate through your walls. And now, especially during the whole pandemic, they've installed thousands and thousands of 5G towers. And the 5G towers are very, very dangerous and can cause ringing in the ears. They can cause dizziness. They can cause balance issues. And not only that, there's a whole host of things that can cause. That's another thing that's been suppressed, and we've been trying to speak out about that and trying to stop this whole 5G thing because 60 gigahertz. And if you just go online and you read about the damaging effects of 5G, or if you go on the alternative media sites like Rumble and BitChute and Brighteon, where you can actually post stuff that doesn't get taken down in a day, you'll see a lot of evidence. I actually have a video on my YouTube channel, by the way, that if you go to YouTube, Dr. Group, I have lots of really good videos there that teach you about health. And you can type in 5G, and I have some really good videos on there that go into the in-depth dangers of 5G and what it's doing. So I would say those are probably the top 5 or so causes that what we've identified that can cause vertigo. But we're going through such a sensitive time right now. It really could be anything, but most likely it's going to be some sort of toxin that's entering the body. It could even be heavy metals, and we've even found that people with a lot of mercury fillings in their mouth, that mercury gas starts going up into the brain and gets into the ear areas and can cause vertigo.
Most definitely. I've got a question myself, actually, Dr. Ed. It's a question actually that I was gonna, or rather that we were sharing, another community member and myself. We both have the same question. But do you have any idea about Parkinson's disease and like anything about, treatment or root cause there or anything like that?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I've been in multiple groups that have been focusing around dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, any type of mental lapse. And what our main diagnosis is for that, or the root cause of that, is metals. So we've identified like some parasites that get up into the brain, but mostly nickel, cadmium, lead, mercury, especially from people that have mercury fillings. Those are really what we've seen are the main issues that start creating the degeneration of the neurofibrils. And we've had tremendous success with working with detoxifying the brain. And I know this is going to sound really, really crazy, but one of the things that we found that works the best actually for which is an ancient remedy that's been used from the beginning of mankind. It's over 5,000 years old. It's been used and researched. It's just one of the strangest things that people cringe when they hear it, but it's actually a therapy called urotherapy, and it's when people drink their own urine. And I know people when you say that word, people like go, oh my gosh, that's gross and that's sick. That's a waste product. But actually, it's one of the most effective things that you can use to cleanse the body and heal disease. And it's tremendous effects when it comes to reversing Parkinson's and Alzheimer's and dementia. And there's been multiple books written about it, although it's very hard to find. One of the best books that was ever written back in the 90s, the early 90s, was a book called Your Own Perfect Medicine by a lady named Martha Christie. And so part of for people that are willing to have an open mind and that are willing to do anything, we use that urotherapy for Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia. I've got YouTube videos on it as well. And then we use DMSO, and we use a coconut oil, and then we use a chemical and it's a plant-based. All this stuff I'm talking about, of course, is organic and all natural. Then we use a plant-based chemical and heavy metal cleanser as well. And I mean, I have an actual program for that. If anybody is interested, they can hit me up or DM me, and I'd be happy to send them over the program that we've used for a long period of time to be able to reverse that. You have to understand that every single disease that the medical profession tells you is incurable. Our research team has researched, and we've been able to reverse every single disease that the medical profession says is incurable. And it's not like we're doing it, actually. We're just telling people how to do it. So that's been a big part of our research for 25 years, is looking at every single health condition, degenerative health condition, viral health condition. I mean, I was one of the doctors actually on the COVID task force for the government because we had so much evidence of um, especially all the years that we've been working with pathology and virology and looking at what in the natural plant kingdom kills off viruses and what strengthens your immune system and what helps your body repair and regenerate and honestly, pretty much everything that we need to heal ourselves is given to us for free. Sunlight, getting better sleep, avoiding, chemicals and toxins, eating pure, clean food, being out in nature, meditating, being mindful of others, being loving, not holding on to negative emotions. I mean, most of the stuff that we need, which is the cause of most illnesses, is already there. We just need to shift our focus, shift our energy into the healing phase. So we basically teach people how to heal themselves. Alzheimer's, depending on how, what stage you're in, if you're in the later stages, you can stop it or possibly even reverse it. But if you're in the medium to early stages, you can definitely improve those and even reverse it.
Awesome. I think that was a fantastic answer. Ed, I know we only have an hour with you, so I want to move it along. I know Kai just requested to speak, so I'll let him have the floor and ask whatever's on his mind. You there,
Hey,
Kai?
Dr. Ed, how's it going?
Going good, brother.
That's great, man. I had a pretty basic, it's like almost like a multi-part question. I think a lot of people tend to maybe struggle with a little bit is kind of like in today's world is like super fast paced, a lot of things going on, a lot of things happening, a lot of things changing. How do you kind of find that like that good work-life balance maintenance without feeling like you're kind of falling behind and not doing enough? Because I feel like a lot of people get stuck in that rut where no matter how much you're doing, like with social media and different factors, you tend to get stuck in that spot where you still feel like you're not doing enough. How do you find like that good work life balance? Like, what are some good tips to kind of find that sweet spot where you're working hard and everything, but you're also able to enjoy life and kind of take a step back and be content in the moment?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so what I've found that works the best is for you to win the mornings. And when I say win the mornings, that means don't touch your phone in the morning when you wake up. And in the morning is your special time. This is the first step. And this is what I found works the best for everybody because your mind is the slowest in the morning. The worst thing you can do is to immediately grab your phone in the morning because it creates a sympathetic state in your body, and that's a state of stress and anxiety. So, but in order to win the mornings, you have to win the evenings. Okay, so that means going to bed by 9:30. I know that sounds crazy, or 9:30 or 10, but you also have to like not be on electronics 30 minutes before you go to bed. And spend some time meditating a little bit before you go to bed. But in the mornings when get a good night's sleep. And in the mornings, that's your personal time. So you get up and you spend 30 minutes or you spend an hour in meditation, in mindfulness, in thought. Do 15 or 20 minutes of meditation. Think about all the positive things in your life. Listen to some affirmations. If you have a family, if you have kids, if you have a wife, if you have a significant other, whatever, spend time together in the morning, just talking, communicating, and setting your day straight. I mean, working with clients all over the world, and it's the same. It's hard, but they're so busy, especially like you said, it's a fast-paced world that we live in, but spending 30 minutes outside off your electronics, 30 minutes before you go to bed, no TV, no electronics, nothing, just in thought, meditation, and then winning the mornings. And after, like for example, what I do in the morning. First of all, I have a rule that I'm in bed by 9:30. Every now and then, you go through phases. where you might be up a little bit later, but just try to stick with the general rule of being in bed by 9:30. But I also get up because the best time energetically for you to think and for you to have ideas and for you to create is between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. in the morning. That's when the universe is still, and that's when the energy, the thinking energy, the power that you have is. And even in India, the great masters and all of the gurus and people would always say that that's the best time for enlightenment. That's the best time for your meditation. That's when you're going to get, if you want to do affirmations, or if you want to do some manifestation of things in your life, that's the best time to do it, because the universe is quiet, and the highest amount of energy is there. So for me, the reason I go to bed at 9:30 is because I wake up at 4:30 in the morning. So I'll get up at 4:30 in the morning, and I come into my quiet room, and I meditate for like 30 minutes, sometimes for an hour. And then I'll sit there, and by that time, my kids and my wife will come in, and then we'll all do personal development. So we start with meditation, and then we do personal development. When I say personal development, that's where you put on 20 minutes of something that's going to motivate you for the day, or like some Jim Rohn or some Anthony Robbins or Gary Vee, or something there's a lot of motivational speakers out there. There's a lot of really good, powerful stories that are like 20 minutes long, that just like really put a good, positive vibe into you for the day. And you start your day off right doing that. And then after that 20 minutes of personal development, you can listen to an audiobook for 20 minutes, or whatever you're going to want to do to just put your mindset in the state that you need to be in to really start your day off right. And then
Yeah.
and then organizing your day to where you try to prioritize the things that really need your attention, first. And take time off, just take time off to take care of your health whenever you feel like you need to. I mean, the world is going to be there, things are going to go on. A lot of people, if you look at the amount of time they spend all day long, I would say probably about 25 to 30% of it is wasted time. They'll go watch, 4 or 5 Netflix, you know, shows or something like that. And I'm pretty sure everybody listening on this call is an entrepreneur. So it's like you have to manage your time correctly, and just ask yourself, is what I'm doing helping people? Is what I'm doing right now helping? Am I utilizing my time efficiently? Because when you are a go-getter, when you are an entrepreneur, when you are trying to build your own business, when you are um, really studying and learning about how to grow, you're only going to get better and better if the more you work on yourself,
Yeah.
and the more that you try to balance your life out. You're going to have times in your life where you're going to be focusing on your business for 20 hours a day for a week, but then you got to know that, and then you got to say, okay, now that I'm done with that project, I'm going to take a couple days off to rest, or I'm going to take a couple days off to disassociate with from society, and just be aware. And that's called mindfulness. I mean, mindfulness is just being aware of what's going on in your life, and being aware of what you need and when you need it at any given moment in your life.
Absolutely. I think that's fantastic advice and a great question, Kai. And I think, people can get turned off by meditation. And I think you would probably agree with this, Ed, but it's like meditation can be, they think of like a monk sitting silent for 2 hours, but meditation could be first thing in the morning, you go for a walk on the beach, or if you're, in the mountains or in more foresty areas, go for a walk. It could be, willows right here, go to the skate park in the morning and hit the skate park for 30 minutes to an hour and just, you know, get out of your mind a little bit, or get into your mind rather. So it could be whatever works for you, whatever your meditation is, and I think you would agree, Ed. Um, but I know we're on a little bit of a time restraint, and we have 3 people who just came on, so we'll go in order, and then we'll probably wrap up with these 3 questions. So I know Common Dan came on first, and then, if I'm not mistaken, Soulful came on second, and then Connor third. So we'll just go in that order, and we'll hear it out.
Cool. Thanks, Drew. And thanks, Dr. Group, for coming on. Really great to hear from you and all this stuff. So I've been roaming around your YouTube page, looking at a lot of your videos, and it seems like detox is like one of your initiatives, and it's something that I've kind of steered away from just because I didn't really understand it, and when's the appropriate time to detox? Is it something you do regularly? What's the signs that you need a detox? So can you just kind of go into what makes detoxing important, and also what would be the appropriate time, or if there's things that you look for that are hey, maybe it would be good to detox at this time if you feel in a certain way or you have certain symptoms.
Yeah, so most people are taking in over 2 million chemicals or toxins into their body every single day. And that's from the air that you're breathing, the personal care products you're putting on your skin. It's from the food that you're eating, the things that you're drinking. So the simple way to say that is, if you're putting 2 million chemicals and toxins into your body every day, and you're not eliminating them, that fast. I mean, what we found is that it takes about 10 or 15 years before the liver gets so congested that it's only working at about 10%. And the liver is your major detoxification organ. First thing that goes is your gut. Your gut health goes because, especially if you've taken any antibiotics or anything, just one round of antibiotics, it takes 8 months to repair your gut back to normal from one round of antibiotics. That's how bad they are. And so when you accumulate all of this stuff inside your system, it just keeps accumulating and accumulating and accumulating. So using an example of a car, right? Like, let's say you never changed your oil filter in your car, and it just started getting gunked up and gunked up and gunked up and gunked up, and then eventually your car would die, or it would start to break down. That's what we've seen and what we've identified with the root cause of disease. Honestly, every single negative health condition is just too many chemicals and toxins that are accumulating inside your system. Now, if your body starts dumping those in the arteries, then you have heart disease. If it starts dumping them somewhere else, in your pancreas, you have diabetes. If it starts dumping them in your joints, you end up with arthritis. It depends on where your weak link is in your body to where all these chemicals and toxins are going to be dumped. Right now, we just evaluated a bunch of science on liver. And the liver is your major detoxification organ. And we came to the conclusion that right now in the world, people's livers on average are functioning around 10 to 15%. They need to be functioning at over 80% for you to be healthy. So that's how important it is to detoxify. If you keep putting, toxic layers of junk in your body and on your body all the time, but you're not getting rid of it. See, how many times do you take a shower to wash your skin? Like, how would you feel if you didn't take a shower in 30 days and all that stuff just kept piling up and piling up on your skin? You feel pretty nasty. But what you're not realizing is, what people don't realize is, that's happening on the inside of their system. And you're putting way more stuff on the inside than what you're putting on the outside. So with all of our research, basically what we do is we start with an intestinal cleanse, because all the chemicals and all the disease causing agents, like all disease starts in the gut, but all health begins in the gut. So the number one thing you need to do is clean your intestines out and clean your gut out. And we have a cleansing program for that. And then the second thing you do is you do a liver cleanse, a liver and gallbladder cleanse, and that flushes out and cleans your liver. And then the third thing that we found is to do a parasite cleanse or a harmful organism cleanse, because we found that practically every single person right now on the planet has abnormal amounts of fungus, mold, bacteria, worms living inside their body. And so we found it was very important to cleanse all of those out. And the last step is to do a chemical and heavy metal cleanse. And we recommend doing that twice a year. So you go through that whole cleanse process once a year. You do an intestinal cleanse, you do a liver and gallbladder cleanse, you do a parasite cleanse, and you do a chemical and heavy metal cleanse. And then the next, 6 months later, you do the same thing over again. Now, that also depends on, in the meantime, we want to teach you how to become your own doctor, and we want to teach you how to avoid putting all of that stuff in your system, which means transitioning over to a fully organic diet, identifying all the chemicals and toxins that you could be putting into your system, cleaning up your air, drinking more water, getting rid of all those toxic beverages that you're drinking, and basically avoiding all of the stuff, or as much as you can, over time, so you don't have that as much congestion, and your body's self-healing mechanism is activated. And that's the whole reason why we have symptoms and we have degenerative disease, because your body is actually the best healing mechanism in the world. Okay, it's way better than anything. Your body knows exactly how to heal itself. However, when it becomes so suppressed and your self-healing mechanism becomes so toxic, then you have a hard time healing, and that's when your body starts giving you symptoms.
Yeah, I feel like too the the more unhealthy lifestyle that you would live, the more difficult it is to acknowledge what your body needs as well. And the more healthy you live, on the flip side, the more you realize what your body needs. Just my thought and opinion. Yeah, that's a fantastic answer. We'll bring up now Soulful Seniors. I think you had a question.
Yeah.
Yes, hi. I don't want to take up a lot of time. You answered some of this, but I do appreciate everything you're saying. I'm a clinical social worker and worked with my clients with mindfulness and a lot of the approaches that you mentioned from point. But I have a question because more and more people that I'm seeing that are younger, and also the severity of anxiety and depression in my clients has increased tremendously. So I was just wondering, from your standpoint and your treatment protocols, how you would handle somebody that has obsessive compulsive, a lot of anxiety, and or depression.
That's probably one of the biggest issues we're all seeing right now, and what we've seen over the last, especially the rises over the last few years, and with the suicide rates as well that are going through the roof right now, the post-traumatic stress disorders. I mean, and that's a difficult issue to address because everybody is in a different environment and everybody is exposed to different things. But the children it's very worrisome to me about what's happening with the children right now and what they're going through from a mental standpoint. What works is which is, I'm sure this is what you do, is to basically evaluate their life and see where those stressors are and what those anxiety, the things that are causing anxiety, and to, believe it or not, the toxins in the foods that they're eating have a lot to do with that. That comes back to the neurotoxins, the excitotoxins, the sugar, the gluten. We get them off gluten as best as we can. We get them off or reduce their sugar as much as we possibly can. We get them off any artificial sweeteners. We get them off of any food dyes, get them off of any MSG, all those excitotoxins to the brain, and then we start detoxifying them. And we do is we use, depending on how old the kids are, we use lithium orotate, which is a plant-based, not lithium like in the psych hospitals, the lithium carbonate, but we use lithium orotate. It was actually developed by Dr. Hans Nieper in Germany, and is a very safe form of mineral-based lithium. It's not the pharmaceutical one. We use that, and then we use a formula that I created specifically for stress, anxiety, and depression, which is called neurofusion, and that works extremely well. And then what we'll do is, so we'll use the lithium orotate, we'll use the neurofusion, and then we'll do micro dosing on a full spectrum hemp extract. So that seems to be a really, really good combination. But a lot of the stress and the anxiety that we're seeing, when you really dig deep in all the teens and everybody that I've been talking to, a lot of it has to do with their social environment, and it has to do with social media, and it has to do with the amount of time that they're spending online, amount of time that they're spending gaming, um, and what they're watching and the information that they're getting through social media, and through, if they're watching TV as well. Same for the adults, actually. Most of the stress, anxiety, and depression is if I had a severe case of a 17-year-old not too long ago, and just as a back step, kids these days they want to be famous, and Harvard did a study. They asked all these kids, this next generation of kids, what are the two things that they feel are the most important in their life, and they said being rich and being famous. So they just don't know that doesn't, like I talked about earlier, dealing with all these billionaires and people, that's not what creates happiness. That's not what creates joy. It's great to have money, don't get me wrong, and it's great to always work towards that and be an entrepreneur, but the way that the thoughts and the way that these kids are being led is wrong. And for example, this individual, this girl, um, severe case of all of those, and even attempted suicide multiple times. And what we did was we immediately got her off of all electronics and put her in nature for 2 weeks, and detoxified her, started teaching her about eating healthy. And honestly, within 4 days of her not looking at her phone, and she completely shifted. Just in 4 days, she had no more depression. She had no more anxiety. She was having panic attacks. Um, they're living in a sympathetic state. When your body is, she wasn't watching the news. She was all, just the outside. It's disassociating yourself from the outside world. And yes, I know it's super hard to do that, and it's hard to integrate back into the real world as well. But she understood a lot better after those 2 weeks. She knew, because she saw herself and she felt herself get better so fast. And we had her on the lithium ortate and the other stuff as well to kind of help balance things out. But for them to realize the effects of the brainwashing that goes on and the manipulation that goes on through social media and through the mainstream media, it has a tremendous detrimental effect on the kids' brains. And honestly, it even goes deeper than that. I mean, a lot of the stuff that they're teaching them in the schools too is not, they don't teach. They teach the exact opposite of what we need to become loving humans in school. They don't teach any financial management in schools. They don't teach how to communicate with other people very much. They don't teach entrepreneurship in schools. They don't teach emotion, how to deal with your emotions and meditation and stuff like that in school. They don't teach, survival, how to be in nature. Um, a lot of the things that we actually need to survive and thrive, meditation, things like that. How they don't teach them about how to recognize how to eat healthy, how to become a good person, any of that. So I think the system is broken. I mean, the system is broken, and that's going to be, hopefully over time we'll be able to make positive changes to fix that system. But that's kind of what we've noticed and how we go about working with that. It doesn't help also with the 5G and all the electromagnetic radiation going into the brain. I mean, there's been multiple studies of how that can excite the brain tissue and create depression and anxiety and all kinds of suicidal thoughts and other stuff.
Yeah, I think that was a fantastic question and answer. Another thing about social media too, it's like, where we're at with Farmers Marketverse and NFTs, and we're on Twitter right now. We're on social media. I think what's important too is social media. It's just going to get bigger. It's inevitable. It's teaching the youth how to navigate and setting up a blueprint, because there's a lot of positives that come out of social media. This space right now is a huge positive. But there's so many more negatives. So just teaching how to navigate these spaces, and not leaving them to their own devices early on, I think is a huge deal, and something that needs to be focused on. So Connor, I know you're there. If you had a question, we'll bring you up.
Hi there, Dr. Ed. I just really want to say thank you so much for everything you've already said and for being a partner with us. Your wealth of knowledge is incredible, and we all greatly appreciate it. My quick question is, one of my biggest health issues is my lack of being able to stay asleep. I'm the lightest sleeper ever. I wake up like so many times throughout the night. I haven't gotten a full night's sleep in years and years, and I feel like it's definitely affecting the rest of my health. And I was just wondering if you have any tips on how to get a better night's sleep, or like staying asleep more specifically.
Yeah, so I have a video that talks about the way that your bed faces in your room has a lot to do with how you sleep. And I can't remember if it's your feet need to be facing west, or I can't remember what it is, but there's been studies done on actually the way that your body faces, the way that your feet face, what direction. That's one thing. Again, like not bringing any electronics into your room would be another thing. 30 minutes before you go to bed, or put them on airplane mode, or just put them away. Um, Third thing is making sure that your bedroom is completely as dark as possible, or wearing a face mask or eye mask to make sure that you have no light. Some people that have issues with sleep, even if there's a tiny bit of light that's in the room. Another thing is, I would maybe check to see if there's any type of electrical stuff on the outside of your house where your bedroom is. That's another thing. Another thing people can do is you put an aromatherapy diffuser in your room at night with like some sleep essential oils in there. That seems to work pretty good. And a live plant, putting a live plant in your bedroom too. Also, you want to make sure that you are not sleeping on a memory foam mattress. One of the biggest things that we found that people have issues with their sleep is because they're sleeping on a memory foam mattress. Now, I don't know what kind of mattress you have, but the memory foam mattresses actually release toxic chemicals and gases during the night, so you breathe those in. So if you switch your mattress and all your sheets and your pillows to 100% organic, they have these organic wool pillows that are 100% wool, organic wool, and you can like adjust them by taking the wool out and putting more in depending on how you sleep. That also your bed will tremendously work with how you're sleeping. Now, another thing I'll bring up is I don't know if you drink coffee, if you have any caffeine, but if you are, some people are extra sensitive to caffeine. It can stay in your system for 72 hours from the last time you ingest it. So if you are drinking any coffee or doing energy drinks, or if you have any type of caffeine, I would stop that around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then see if all of that is going to help you out. If not, if all of that doesn't help you out, then I would, you can use some melatonin, you can use some GABA, you can use some Tulsi, some hemp extract. I mean, if you take some full spectrum hemp extract about an hour or 45 minutes before you go to bed, that works amazing for people to sleep through the night.
I have a question. What do you feel, or how do you feel about shungite?
Yeah, I love shungite. I've been working with shungite for years and years. I mean, the base molecule in shungite is C60. It's a carbon 60. It's a fullerene molecule. And we actually have a product called Supercharged C60 that we sell, which is in shungite, you have about 1% C60, maybe 1 to 5% C60 in the shungite rock, which usually comes from Russia. But there's one company that's been able to actually produce 100% of a C60 powder, supercharged C60 powder. And we've been using that. We just launched that product actually about 6 months ago. It is extremely powerful. Shungite is very powerful as most people don't take it internally, but they have a lot of necklaces and stuff, and it helps block the EMFs, the electromagnetic frequencies, the dangerous ones, as well as it's just a really powerful, energetic stone that you can wear on your body to raise your vibrational frequency. But the C60, the supercharged C60, we've found, and we've been working with a lot of people that lately that have been injured or had adverse effects to the vaccinations. And the C60 seems to be working as one of the most powerful things to detoxify and neutralize, like an antidote to the toxic ingredients that are contained in some of the vaccines, or at least from some of the people that we've we get all the people that have adverse effects. They come to us wanting to detoxify and wanting to cleanse out everything, and they've identified graphene oxide as one of the ingredients in the shots. And so I've been working with one of the top carbon nanoparticle chemists and biochemists in the world. His name is Dr. Tom Bailey. And so the shungite powder, or the activated charcoal, or the supercharged C60, has now been shown to grab on and detoxify the graphene oxide from the body. So I'm really excited about that. I'm glad you brought that up, because that's one of the most powerful ways to, keep yourself clean and healthy, is by using the supercharged C60. And the supercharged C60 is the carbon 60. It's the same as what's in the shungite, except it's the supercharged. Instead of one molecule, it's like an onion. So it has one C60 molecule, and then it's another layer over that, another layer over that, 26 layers. So it actually peels off inside your body as it goes through and starts grabbing any positively charged toxins, chemicals, radiation, anything that's bad for your body. It'll grab it and it'll take it out. Now, the only negative thing about the C60 or the shungite, or especially the supercharged C60, is it's extremely expensive. So one bottle is like $199. But, you get what you pay for. The power of it is just amazing.
Yeah, 100%. Like $200 is definitely a lot less than thousands of dollars in the emergency room or the hospital, for sure.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Awesome. Great question too. Another thing on sleep, on the previous question, I was going to see your thoughts, Ed, on this. I follow, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Andrew Huberman, who's a neuroscientist, if I'm not mistaken, with Stanford. But his advice too with sleep, and like a nice sleep cocktail, which I've been taking recently and has done wonders for me, because it's almost impossible for me to get to sleep these days. It's I think a 3-tier supplement. One is what I take is Neuromag, magnesium, L-theanite, if I'm not pronouncing that wrong, 5-HTP, and then L-theanine as well. And it's really put me to sleep and done wonders. And also, I know Ben Greenfield talks about it, and you mentioned it as well, but just to cut any caffeine out by like 3 p.m. or 8 hours before you go to bed. But yeah, so that has helped me out, and just wanted to follow up on Connor's question.
Yep, I totally agree with that. As a matter of fact, we're coming out with a ultimate magnesium blend product here in the next few months. Magnesium is amazing to use to calm. It's a smooth muscle relaxant, and it calms you down. And there's a product out there called Calm that's been around for quite some time that people love, and that is magnesium deficiency is also associated. I'm glad you brought that up. Thanks for that. So yeah, I am familiar with that, and that research is really, really effective, and it does work for sure. And the 5-HTP as well.
I have a question on magnesium. I understand there's different forms of magnesium. Is magnesium, I heard you say something orotate earlier. I know that there's a magnesium orotate. How is that? Are they for different symptoms, or I don't, different uses, or I just get confused when I see like 3 different or 4 different forms of magnesium. I'm like, well, shit, which one's good for me?
They are all different. Okay, so there's multiple different forms of magnesium, and it just the simple answer is, where do you want the magnesium to go? So it's either going to go to the extracellular fluid, it's going to go to the outer layer of the cell membrane, it's going to go to the inner layer of the cell membrane, or it's going to go inside the cell, or it's going to go in different areas of the tissue and possibly even into the brain. So my favorite types of magnesium are going to be the magnesium orotate, the magnesium aspartate, the dimagnesium malate, the magnesium glycinate glutamine chelate, the magnesium bisglycinate, the threonate, the magnesium L-threonate, and the taurinate. Those are the ones that we're coming out with a magnesium. It's called the Ultimate Magnesium Blend, and it has every single one of the high-end types of magnesium for all the different types of tissues and organs and cells, and in a usable, bioavailable form. Most of the stuff out there that you get is junk. Like calcium, you see all these calcium supplements at the drugstores and all that, and the magnesium supplements. Most of those they're just going to flush right through your system. You're just going to get a little bit of it. So I would say, you can't go wrong with the L-threonate, the orotate, the aspartate. Those are going to be, some of the higher level forms of magnesium.
Awesome.
Right on, right on.
I have
We've hit
another
that.
question. Oh, my bad.
We've hit that 1 hour mark. And I don't want to take up all of Dr. Ed's time. I know he's got to run. Chris, if you had one more brief question, I'm sure Dr. Ed would love to answer it. But once we wrap that up, we'll probably wrap the space up. So, and we'll do a little closing thing as well. But go ahead and ask your question, Chris.
What about powdered bamboo extract? Is that good for like like I see a lot of like hair, skin, and nails products with what is that, horsetail or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So is the powdered bamboo extract better to use?
I don't have a lot of experience with the powdered bamboo extract, because when we look at, for hair and skin and nails, we always ask the question, why is the hair not growing? Why are the nails not growing? Why is the skin, disturbed in some way, shape, or form? And it comes back to the root cause of that again. It comes back to what you're putting in your body, and it comes back to the toxicity. So our philosophy is to treat the root cause and not the symptoms. Now, for hair, skin, and nails, really, what works the best is biotin. You can use some MSM. You can just cleansing the gut. The gut is associated with the skin and nails. When your gut is toxic, start having issues with absorption, and that's the key issue. If you're not absorbing and utilizing the calcium and the minerals and the vitamins that you need for healthy skin and nails, that's what we have to fix. That's a mistake a lot of people make, is they read online and then they get like 10 different supplements and they bring them home. And to a certain degree, you might get a little bit of benefit out of that. But really, what you should be doing is addressing your health from the internal side, and detoxifying your body, and cleaning out your liver, and cleaning out all the parasites, and then cleaning out all the chemicals and heavy metals. And when you do that, everything changes within your system. Then your nails become healthy again, your hair becomes healthy again, your skin looks radiant again. I mean, what you're looking like on the outside is a direct relation of what your body is feeling and looking like on the inside.
Right on.
Oh yeah. That was a great question, great answer, and I think we had a bunch of great questions tonight. So yeah, just want to thank everyone for coming on and listening, and taking in some of that knowledge that Dr. Ed was dropping. Like I've said on our posts, Ed is a well of knowledge, and we we really appreciate him and this partnership with Global Healing. And there's so much more to come. And like we stated at the beginning of the spaces, we are doing a giveaway. So I'll just reiterate that once more. So in the next week or so, we're going to be launching a giveaway with Global Healing. We've done one or two already, but this one is going to be sort of like a starter pack giveaway. Starter pack for immune supplements, which is going to be zinc, a vial of zinc, quercetin, and vitamin D, which kind of all run together and activate each other. Like I stated earlier, I use it, take it every morning, as well as Dr. Ed's new book, and he's going to sign each one. So look out for that as well. And again, we just appreciate everyone coming on, everyone who asked questions, and many thanks. Grateful. I don't know if you had anything to say and close it out for us.
Yeah, man. Just thank you to everybody. This is the new Wednesday spaces, the new regularly occurring spaces. So tap in next week, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Anything else before we go, Drew? I don't know. I think we kind of hit it on the head. Thanks, everybody for tapping in, tuning in. Oh, and courtesy of Willow Kid, if you check our spaces recap section, we'll actually get this reposted in there because it's a Q&A, so it's kind of hard to recap it via text. So that'll be there so everybody can go back and listen to this. You can, put it on in the background like a podcast or whatever you like. So definitely, man. Appreciate everybody coming out, and we'll see everybody next week.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Thank you. I definitely forgot to mention Willow Kid. He's recording them all. They're on the YouTube, and then shouts out to Flanders as well, and yourself, Grateful, for putting out the text version of the recaps. So thanks everyone. Dr. Ed, thank you so much, and this definitely won't be the last time you hear from Dr. Ed himself. We'll try to do these as frequently as possible and get him on and just to to drop a bunch of his knowledge, on the community.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Hey, man, thanks for being here. We appreciate you so much, Dr. Ed. Everybody, good night. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Happy
guys.
next week.
Good night.
Thank you, Farmer Fam.
All right, see you guys.